A very good morning, dear students. Welcome to e-learning classes of Sacred Hearts of the subject Economics. Dear students, in the previous lecture of Economics, we have concluded our chapter number 5 of Indian economic development, and the name of the chapter was poverty. And in that chapter, what we have discussed is we are going to have a very fast recap of that. We have discussed the concept of poverty. Thereafter, we have discussed the concept of poor in the context of the rural and urban area. Thereafter, we have discussed the different categories of the poverty. For example, always poor, usually poor, chronically poor, churning poor, occasionally poor, transient poor, and thereafter we have discussed the two different approaches of poverty: relative poverty and absolute poverty. And absolute poverty is the context that have been adopted in our country. Thereafter we have discussed the measurement of poverty line, the extent of poverty in India with the help of numbers, that means interstate as well as in the urban and rural area. Thereafter we have discussed about the causes of poverty, and the causes of poverty have been discussed in the two contexts. The very first context was the reference to underemployment, and second was reference to the unequal distribution of income and wealth. Thereafter, we have started the concept of the policies and programs that have been launched by the government to eradicate the poverty, or we can say poverty alleviation programs, which have been launched in three approaches. The first approach was to provide financial assistance to individual. Second approach was to create self-help group, and the third approach was to provide the basic amenities. And the last we have discussed about the critical assessment of the policies and programs of the poverty alleviation. Dear students, today we are going to start our chapter number 6, and the name of the chapter is Human Capital Formation in India. So let's get started. Initially, the very first concept is the human resource. The very first concept is the meaning of human resource. So, dear students, human resource refers to the abilities of human beings to contribute to the process of value addition in the economy. Human is considered as resource. When the human will become resource? When he acquires some knowledge and skills. For example, farming, who is able to grow food, a doctor who is able to see patient, all will be considered as the human resource. Thereafter, the next concept is the human capital formation. So dear students, human capital formation refers to the stock of skill and expertise of a nation at a point of time. That means the total amount of skilled and expertise people in a nation at a particular time is considered as human capital stock. And what is that? It is the sum total of skill and expertise of engineers, doctors, professors, and workers of all types who are engaged in the process of value addition. All the workers who are involved anyhow in the value addition will be considered as the human capital. Now see, human capital formation can simply concluded as the adding to the stock of human capital. When we used to add, or when we used to increase the stock of human capital, it is considered as human capital formation. Here a definition is also there through the by the G.M. Mayer. What is the definition? Human capital formation is a process of either acquiring and increasing the number of persons. And which type of person? Who have the skill, education, and experience which are essential for the economical and political development of a country. Thereafter, the next concept is the human development. Although human resource and human development seems to be very same concept, but there is a basic difference between both of them. Human resource can be considered as a means, as a way, and human development is the end result. When we will have the human resource, then only there will be the human development. Then see over here, human development is an end result. Skill and expertise of human beings in itself is an achievement irrespective of its contribution in the process of value addition. Even there is no contribution in the value addition, but still being skilled, being expertise is in itself is an achievement. Now see further, human development is an index of human welfare. It is an index of human welfare. Now we are going to discuss the difference between the physical and human capital, because before this chapter we used to hear about only the physical capital. Now we are understanding or just listening the concept of human capital as well. So what is the basic difference? The very basic difference is of meaning. In the capital, Physical capital, we talk about the means of production that have been produced, and in the capital, human capital, we used to talk skill and expertise of the people. Thereafter, the process of formation is there. So the capital, physical capital, is just simply to have the investment in the terms of money, and it is being simple. But if we talk about the human capital, the decision to invest in human capital is not taken after calculating the return. It is not, before it is not calculated how much return we are going to get. The next one is the tangibility. Physical capital is tangible, we can see it, but if we talk about the human capital, then it is intangible. The next basis is separability from the owner. So physical capital can be separate from the owner, but human capital cannot be separated from the owner. The next one is the mobility. So if it can be departed, so there is no restriction in the mobility about the physical capital. But human capital, the movement of human capital is restricted by nationality, culture, and it is not perfectly mobile. It is mobile, not perfectly mobile. And thereafter depreciation. If we talk about the physical capital, so in the context of the physical capital, depreciation cannot be avoided, but in the human capital there is no as such depreciation. So this is the basic difference between the physical capital is something context or related to the material resources, and human resources is something related to the skill and expertise. Now the last topic of today's lecture is the sources of human capital. What are the sources of making human capital? So very first is the expenditure on education. If we talk about the education, then it seems to be very one of the most effective way of the creating human capital, because if a particular person is educated, then he or she will have a productive workforce in the country, and that is why most of the family used to decide to make a huge amount of expenditures on the education, even when they are not having resources, even when they have to take the loans. So education enables an individual to make good living throughout his life. Initially education involves time and cost, but later on it makes your life comfortable. The next one is a expenditure on education. We all know that there is a well known proverb or old saying, that is a sound mind in a sound body. Until and unless your body is not sound, your mind cannot be sound. So expenditure on health seems to be very important, because if a particular person will be healthy, he will be contribute in the better way for the GDP, in the better way for the economic activity. And the expenditure on health can be in the form of preventive medicine, curative medicine, social medicine, and provisions of hygiene and sanitation is the important element of the human capital formation. The next one, third, is the on the job training. So if we talk about on the job training, so it is a type of training which used to sharpen the specialized or the skills of the workers. It enables them to increase their knowledge so that they can more effectively and efficiently contribute in the economic activity or the production activity. Now on the job training can be undertaken by the two ways. The very first, workers may be trained in the firm itself, or second, workers may be sent for some off the campus and then they can be trained. The next is the fourth point, that is the study programs for adult. Other than the formal education in the school level, in the college level, what the government and different NGOs are doing, they are providing the education program for the adults so that they can become proficient or expert in their work areas. Not only in the work area, but it also enhances their productivity and outlook, which ultimately leads to the comfortable human capital formation in the country. Thereafter, the next point is the migration, and migration contributes to the human capital formation as it facilitate. How it contributing? Because it facilitate the use of the inactive skills that are lying in any underdeveloped area or undeveloped area. But if we talk about migration, then migration involves a huge cost. It involves the cost of transportation as well as the cost of living in the different social environments. But still people used to migrate in the search of the better job opportunities. And why it is? Because whatever the gains of migrations are there, they are seems greater than the cost of migration. And the last one, that is the expenditure on information. Information relating to job markets and educational institutions offering specialized skill is an important determinant of skill formation or the human capital formation, because until and unless we are not having the knowledge about the job, about the particular vacancy, we cannot apply for that. If we will not apply, then we cannot use our skills or knowledge or expertise. So it enables people to actualize their productive potential. Through information they come to know about the vacancy, about the post they used to apply, and then only they can actualize their whatever the productive potential is there. So accordingly, expenditure on information is also a important determinant of human capital formation. So this is all about today, dear students. Today we have discussed the meaning of human resource, thereafter the human capital formation, human development, the difference between physical and human capital, and lastly we have discussed the sources of human capital formation, in which we have discussed about the education, expenditure on health, on the job training, study program for adults, migration, and the expenditure on information. God bless you all.